The ice has cleared, and a day later than expected, we're ready to tip off the 2025-26 boys basketball season as the number 16 team in 4A Homestead Spartans welcoming the defending 2A state champion Manchester Squires for the home opener at Spartan Arena. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast booth. Braxton Hall joined alongside Atticus Dean. Sideline reporter Lucas Acree will join us in a bit. We're glad to have you with us for another season of Homestead High School hopes. And Atticus, an interesting early season test for both of these teams who find themselves ranked in their respective classes.
Yeah, Braxton, both these teams found themselves having success in the playoffs last year. In order to get back to that, you got to work things out early in the season. Both teams doing just that tonight with a competitive showdown to kick things off for both teams.
All right, with that, let's get into the OPS pregame show by talking about Manchester, a team that already has one game under their belt, but it didn't go the way they wanted as they fell to Oak Hill 77-41.
And that one, Manchester just trying to forget and move on from that one. Just a rough game to kick things off for them. And part of the reason, just not a lot of guys from that last year's state championship squad is back on this team. We'll mention it in a little bit, but not a lot of guys returning, and that certainly plays a factor when you try to work things out early in the season.
That's going to be a common theme tonight when we talk about Manchester, the lack of returning players. They graduated 5 seniors last year, all of whom saw significant playing time on that state championship team. So let's take a look at the first 5 games here for Manchester. What stands out to you, Atticus?
Just the big schools that they play. They play all 4A and 3A schools to kick things off, and that while the first game didn't go the way they wanted to, the only way you can get better is just keep playing these tough teams, and Manchester doing just that to kick things off. So I like how competitive their early slate of games is.
And then meanwhile for Homestead, this is their first game of the season. Here's a look at their opening slate.
And once again, very competitive matchups. I mean, after this one, they play Warsaw. In that game, they lost an overtime buzzer beater. And then they play Dwenger to kick off conference play. Then you have Lures. You also have South Bend Riley. So just a lot of very competitive games to kick things off for both teams. And that's crucial when you're trying to figure things out and get into a groove early on and ride a hot streak like Homestead did last year.
Every one of these games has a little bit of a different feel. You're playing a defending state champion tonight. You mentioned that overtime game last year against Warsaw. You're going on the road this season seeking revenge. That conference opener you mentioned against Bishop Dwenger. You play South Bend Riley and a team that's going to be a 4-game jamboree up at Grace College. And then Lures, a team you lost to last year, only one of 2 losses you had in conference play. So this is a really tough, but also a big opportunity for Homestead to open the season because they really feel like they could win all 5 of these games.
No, I definitely agree, and a lot of people may consider last year's season to be sort of a fluke with some of the unexpected victories they pulled out. Well, Homestead trying to prove that it was no fluke early in the season.
All right, with that, it's time to look at our players to watch for tonight's game. Let's start off with Manchester.
Well, for Manchester, it has to be Aaron Reed, the highest returning scorer, but it seems like he's going to be coming off the bench tonight for the Squires, so they're going to try to provide a spark plug for his team when necessary. But we mentioned it, not a lot of guys returning. Aaron Reed, one of those guys that has varsity experience, is back and trying to help this Squires team get back to finding playoff success.
Yeah, we were both surprised to see not in the starting lineup tonight. He scored 2.8 points per game. I know it's not a whole lot, but that is the returning lead of players coming back this season. We'll see what he does in this game. When he gets out on the floor, we'll expect to see him running the point. We'll see how much they use him. Who's another player maybe we're going to keep an eye on for Manchester off their starting lineup?
Dallas Martin, for sure. Once again, another returning guy. He's a senior now this year. Average about 2 points and 2 rebounds. So once again, not jump out the gym crazy numbers, but just having varsity experience is something that you can rely on when you have a team full of guys that really haven't played basketball at this level quite yet.
And Martin played all but 1 game last season. Reed played in every game last season, so we'll see what those guys do. Those are 2 of the 3 seniors on the other one, on the team. The other one, Carson Heath, a forward. He will be starting this game. So then, meanwhile, for Homestead, who's their player to watch in this one?
Pretty obvious. It has to be Mac Welker. Took a big jump last season, averaging about 16 and 8 if you round up for him. And once again, it was a guy that people expected to be good, but they didn't know how good he would get and how quickly he did. And now primary offensive option for the Spartans team and a whole lot of opportunity to go out there and continue his excellent play this season.
As a sophomore last year, he made the All-SAC first team. Jake Kuhlman made All-SAC second team. We'll talk about him a lot throughout this game as well. So this is going to be a new look for this team, but you have those two guys who are going to be in their third year of varsity experience. They're going to have to be the leaders now as juniors.
It's funny because last year we talked about Mac and Jake in a completely different way. They were sort of the new kids on the block for the Spartans team, as Homestead had a lot of seniors that played varsity. Well, now they are the veterans of this team. A lot of sophomores, only one senior for Homestead, that being Brony McNeese. So now it's up to Jake and Mac, especially to be big leaders for the team.
Well, Coach Johnson of the Spartans, this is going to be his 32nd year leading a team, leading the head of a program, has 528 career wins. This is his 27th year as the head coach of Homestead. He sits on 449 wins as the leader of the Spartans, and he's standing by with our Lucas Akery. Lucas, take it away.
Coach, it's one of the most anticipated times of the year, the boys basketball season. You had a great last year, winning your third regional title ever. You have a couple key players returning, but your entire team is fairly new. So for the fans, could you tell us what to expect for this year's Homestead boys basketball season?
Well, I'm expecting the same thing. Come in, play hard, do the little things correct, make sure that we're sharing the basketball, and play good defense. So hopefully that will start us tonight and see what happens.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach Johnson. Looks like it'll be a great season for Homestead boys basketball. Braxton, Atticus, back to you.
All right, thank you, Lucas. Well, this team made it to semi-state last year. They were even leading in the semi-state semifinal game for most of the first half against Crown Point. Got to play hard if you're going to play for Coach Johnson. That's what they're looking for this season.
Yeah, Homestead's always been a defensive-minded team, and a lot of the seniors they had last year were primarily defensive-minded guys. Well, this year, a lot of guys that are focused on putting the ball in the basket going to have to shift their focus a little bit to that defensive-oriented mindset that Coach Johnson wants, but it works. Coach Johnson and his team, their style of play, it's generated success. They're looking for that to continue this year.
It's the best time of the year basketball season in Indiana, and the boys' season starts when we come back.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
We're back at Spartan Arena for the 2025 boys basketball home opener. Braxton and Atticus Dean with you. Let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game. First up For Manchester, it's going to be their senior forward, Carson Heath, sophomore guard, Wyatt Schroll, junior guard, Nolan Hernandez, senior forward, Dallas Martin, and sophomore forward, Lincoln Young.
Well, once again, you see it for both teams, but only one senior starting for both teams respectively. So going to be a great time to get a look at some of these sophomores and see what they can do come varsity time. 2 seniors for Manchester, but nonetheless still a lot of inexperience there that they're going to have to try to work on for them.
And again, the third and final senior on the roster, that's Aaron Reed. He'll be the 6th man off the bench. We would expect to see him out on the floor tonight, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. As meanwhile for Homestead, 3 returning starters, the 2 new guys right at the top. It's freshman guard Mason Weaver taking over from his brother, who was a forward on the team last year, and then sophomore guard Ryder Emmel, junior forward Jake Kuhlman, junior forward Mac Welker, and senior guard Brogan McNeese, the lone senior on the roster.
And one thing that stands out, you see Kuhlman now listed as forward. He was the point guard last year. Well, when you have some guards coming in, Mason Weaver, the freshman, being a guard and a ball handler, not only does it help you having more ball handlers, but now you can have Kuhlman in multiple different spots on the floor. So that's going to be something to watch. Homestead, how they vitalize all the different ball handlers they have.
About ready to get this game underway. Homestead has not lost a season opener since 2017. Manchester, they've already played 1 game, but they are trying to bounce back here tonight. They only lost 2 games all of last season. A defeat in this one would already match that mark before we even get to the 2nd week of December. Mac Welker in the circle for the Spartans, standing at 6'6", and meanwhile it's going to be Lincoln Young for the Squires, standing at 6'5". We're glad to have you with us for another season of Homestead High School Hoops. We're about to get this season tipped and underway. Ball thrown in the air. Spartans will control it off the get-go. What do you want to see from this Homestead offense tonight?
Ball movement. There was a lot of times last year where guys would shy away from the basketball and the ball would tend to stick into one person's hands. That's not a recipe for success. Ball movement is so vital offensively.
So ball in the hands of Kuhlman. Throws all the way to Emmel on the near side. 3-pointer. How about that for the new guy, Ryder Emmel, the sophomore. Hits the 3 on the opening possession.
And immediately the Spartans picking up full court, not allowing Manchester to settle into the game at all.
A lot of pressure here from Homestead. Pass down low. Young able to bank it in off the glass. Squires answer back with 2 of their own, and now a little bit of pressure from a Heath as Kuhlman will get it over to Welker and thrown ahead to Emmel. Emmel stood out for the Spartans on their JV team last year, and we'll see what he can do in varsity, already hitting a 3-pointer to get this game underway. Kuhlman will go back to Emmel, starts to drive, tosses it to Welker. He'll bank it in off the glass.
In the zone of the Squires, just leaving the middle wide open. Welker's going to be floating around there the entire game, and that's just an easy dump-off pass for the Spartans.
Here comes a trap from Homestead, thrown out to Schroll. Now in the hands of Young, spinning around, finds the cutting man. That was Hernandez who has it blocked back at him. And it's going to be in the hands of Welker up the floor for Homestead. He might go end-to-end. He's going to be fouled, but on the floor. It'll be a side-out inbound for Homestead.
And there, even though there was a foul and he didn't make the layup, but the ability of Mac Welker to go from end to end just spruces up this offense a tremendous amount. When you have a guy like Welker with his size also being able to handle the ball like a guard, it just opens up so many options for you.
Ball in the hands of Kuhlman here. He drives baseline, reverses, short Welker. Excuse me, that's McNeese who cleans it up. So Brogan McNeese gets his first points of the new season. Again, the only senior on the team for Homestead this year. He'll be taking that leadership role, his 2nd year on varsity. Hernandez can't get it to go off the rim. Emma will get the board for the Spartans. Looking to go quickly up the floor, guarded by Heath, turns around. Weaver goes to Kuhlman at the top of the key. He'll go out. Emma going for another 3-pointer. It's no good. McNeese gets the board and has it knocked away by Heath, who'll get it for the Squires. Now Schroll bringing up the near side of the floor for Manchester. Just over 2 minutes into this one, 7-2 Homestead lead. Hernandez again with it. Runs into Welker. Passed back to Young. Heath to Schroll. Nowhere to go. Manchester struggling to find an open look, and that ball thrown into the backcourt. It was deflected by Homestead, and it goes out of bounds, last touched by Hernandez.
And great hustle there from Welker, despite being far away from that basketball, still showing effort to get there, and it pays off, and now Homestead have it already at the half court.
So the ball thrown into Kuhlman into the backcourt here for Homestead. In the hands of Weaver, will go to McNeese, now back to Kuhlman. Quick ball movements from Homestead, leads to a Welker three. That's air ball. Schroll has it now for Manchester, going in transition, up with it, and gets it to fall.
Both teams are looking to run in transition after a miss. Both teams have been trying to do it, and there the Squires able to pay for the Spartans not getting back on defense.
Interesting to see how this Homestead team plays pace-wise. They were a pretty slow team last year, all things considered. Ryder Immel has not had a slow start to this game. He's already got 6, 2 of 3 beyond the arc.
Well, you mentioned pace. The Spartans team, they have a new life. They have a lot of younger guys trying to get out there and run. That adds a lot of pace to the team. They also have a lot of capable ball handlers that helps you allow to speed up if you choose to do so. And so far, Homestead playing with great pace.
Feels like this team's going to take a step forward on the offensive side of the ball. Welker defensively gets the board here. Bringing it up the floor, he'll go to Kuhlman. Now back to Welker in that corner. He's trying for another three. This time he gets it to go, makes up for the last one.
And with the zone that the Squires are running, they trying to defend the middle. It's going to leave the corner wide open. That's just easy for Welker.
Another trap here from Homestead, knocked out of bounds. They're going to say it kicked off of Weaver. So it's going to stay with the Squires. Manchester making their first substitution, and it is going to be Aaron Reed coming into the game. Also, Carson McLean will check in.
While talking about Reed being a guy that they're going to need as a spark plug, well, they certainly need a spark plug here as the Spartans off to a quick start that it'll be up to the Squires to try to respond and get back in this one.
Just saw Coach Pat Lepper. This is his first season as a head coach, second game leading a program, so still trying to get his feet underneath him. As the ball's thrown up top. Now being moved around. Here's Reed with it to Schroll. Young was there as well. Back to the top of the key. Reed thought about it. And again, Schroll's going to have the ball, throw it back out to Reed. He's taking over that point guard spot here. Welker knocks it free. And this is going to be a jump ball. The arrow keeps it with Manchester.
And the Spartans, great defense. You see Immel there working, and Welker just so lengthy, just got his whole bare paw on the basketball there to tie it up. And that's a huge thing that the Spartans also gain. They have a lot of length as well. Immel and Weaver certainly not small. They have good size on them, and that allows for the defense to pick up a whole nother level for Homestead.
And Manchester's going to call a timeout. I'll tell you what, the aggressiveness of Mac Welker so far has been pretty impressive. He seems to be everywhere on both sides of the ball.
And he has to. He's trying to take a step up. He's trying to be the leader of this team, and you have to do it on both ends. It starts defensively. You know, his defense turns into offense. You see, he got a block earlier. He's in there tying up the basketball. That leads to him being able to have that momentum, go down the court, and knock down those threes.
So about halfway through this first quarter, what stands out to you so far?
Just the energy that both teams are bringing, especially Homestead, but the pace that both teams are trying to play with. As soon as a team misses a shot, or there's any sort of turnover, the other team is instantly running, trying to go get an easy layup, and that was a foreign concept for Homestead last year. Whenever they would get a steal or rebound, some of the seniors on that team would turn and look for Kuhlman to set up the offense. Now they have plenty of guys that are ready to go and score, and that livens up that offense of Homestead.
Look, it was against a tough opponent, but the last time we saw this Homestead team play, they put up just 29 against Crown Point, and they're well on their way to surpassing that tonight, as rebounding foul going to be called here against McLean. It'll be his first.
And rebounding was another sometimes struggle for the Spartans team. Whenever they would go against someone that had a bit more size than them, they would struggle to rebound the basketball. Well, now you have McNeese and Welker, both tall, down low, athletic, to go and get those rebounds and push the pace.
Ball in the hands of Kuhlman. And he'll throw it all the way to the other side. Three-pointer is cashed home by Ryder Immel once again. He's now 3 of 4 beyond the arc, and the leading scorer for Homestead with 9. Reed up the near side, bobbled it. Weaver and Kuhlman were there. Kuhlman got the initial deflection. Throw it ahead to Welker, who gets our first dunk of the season.
Well, Welker was someone that tried to dunk in almost every opportunity he had last year, getting an easy one there to kick things off, and Homestead's defense turning into quick offense.
He's grown some more in the offseason, listed as 6'6", right place, right time for the steal. Thrown ahead to Kuhlman, and the Spartans are running to start this game immediately. Coach Lepper forced to burn another timeout, his second one called in the last 60 seconds of this game, and Homestead is showing out right now.
Well, what a way to kick things off in this first quarter for Homestead. Based on the way they're playing, you think they're about 10 games in. They're playing amazing on both ends of the basketball. Once again, defense, just even if they're in the right place at the right time, it takes knowledge to know where to be on the court, and Homestead doing just that, getting easy layups and dunks and fast breaks.
No offseason rust for this team, that is for sure. They are playing really well to begin this game. I mean, if you're Manchester, you haven't scored in, 3 minutes now? What do you start doing?
Just need to try to slow down a bit. The whole point of Homestead's defense, they're trying to speed you up. If you can just take your time and fend off the pressure and get some things going offensively, that would be huge. I also think defensively, I think at some point you have to call out of that zone, as Kuhlman just had 2 easy cross-court passes to a wide-open Ryder Immel for easy threes. That's not a recipe for success early, as Homestead's proven that they can beat the zone. So just slow down offensively and try to go man and size up and go one-on-one with a guy.
Homestead does lead this series 17-8 all time, including winning the last 7, and it was a big victory last year, 71-48, but this is just a very dominant start, even when put into perspective of the past meetings between these two teams. We'll see what the Squires do here as the ball's thrown over to Winger, his first time into the game. Kuhlman and McNeese forcing a trap. Reed, long three-pointer is no good. His first look of the night. McNeese couldn't quite come up with the rebound. Thrown back. Reed thought about another one. He'll toss it back to Heath. Spartans are allowing them to take those deep shots if they want them. Again to Reed. Thrown to Martin. Heath with it to Young. Down low to Martin. Again back to Young. Homestead just guarding the paint right now, giving them the outside. And now coming inside, Reed is going to be fouled on the way up. I believe that's going to go against Kuhlman. It'll be his first, and that'll send the Squires to the line.
This is a great chance for the Squires to cool down a little bit, get a deep breath. If you can hit the free throws, tack on some easy points, and try to get things figured out, as so far it's been a struggle.
And Reed misses the first free throw. He was just 53% last season from the line. I'm not great at math, but even I know that means about 1 of 2. Whenever he goes to the stripe, second free throw on its way, and here we go, 1 of 2 this time as well. So that's the first point for Manchester in 3 minutes, and the deficit is 15 still. Into the game for Homestead, Sky Dollins, who saw some varsity minutes last year, largely played JV. Now the ball is in his hands. Down low to Welker. He'll lay it in. Dollins has an assist.
And Dollins is another guy that Homestead's trying to develop. Last year, you mentioned it, got some varsity reps, got to learn from those varsity guys, and now looking to take a big jump for the Spartans team.
It'll be a fun one to watch off the bench, at least early on this season. Heath has it knocked away by Mac Welker, who's playing out of his mind to begin this game.
Let's get another look at that. Welker coming from the paint, sending it off the backboard out of bounds. Defensive prowess. I mean, you just see when Welker's in the paint, he's trying to make guys think twice about going up with a layup.
And an offensive foul is called here. And see the number, I think it might have gone against Heath. And it is. So it's going to be his second personal foul now. With 90 seconds to go in the first quarter, one of their starters already into foul trouble here. And this ball turned over. Reed picks it off, and he'll lay it in for the Squires. First real mistake we've seen from Homestead so far. Almost another one there. Welker throws it ahead, and a foul going to be called against Martin as he crashes into Braylon McNeese into the game for the first time.
Homestead getting a little reckless with these passes. They're really long passes to make. If Homestead could just take one extra dribble to get them closer, they wouldn't be getting picked off or be in danger of getting picked off. As with Homestead, when you're up like this, you're trying to demoralize your opponent, trying to not allow a run to start. And if Manchester can get a couple turnovers, it could shift to a big run from the Squires.
Winger checks out, so Schroll will come back in here for Manchester. Kuhlman picks up his dribble just in front of the timeline, bounces it over to Dollins. Now back to Dollins. Welker in his way will go to Kuhlman on the midcourt. They'll go less than a minute to go in this quick first quarter. Kuhlman throws it over to Dollins again, steps inside the arc, just a little bit strong. Young gets the board. Now in the hands of Heath. And Reed will bring it up slowly here for Manchester. Welker will pick him up defensively. Looking over to his coach for instructions. Now to Heath, 30 seconds to go in the first period. Reed starts to drive, picks up the dribble, turns around. Welker got in there, and they're going to get him for a foul.
There, Reed he's trying to get that driving lane the entire game, but Immel doing a good job sliding his feet in. Welker got a little bit too much hand action in there. I think that's what they call just too much hand and not the ball that Welker hit.
For as aggressive as he's played, that is just his first foul. That's the ball thrown into Reed here. He'll step up, bounce it to Young, thrown back to Martin. Now Schroll out to Heath. Three-pointer over Dollins is strong. Rebound by Immel, goes out of bounds, but that's going to be last touched by Martin.
And one thing that I've noticed in this first quarter from Homestead is their switchability defensively. There's been times where Immel's guarding the center, Kuhlman's guarding the center, Mason Weaver's been guarding the center, so this entire Homestead team just has a lot of switchability on defense.
Here's Kuhlman. It's a little bit of a screen from McNeese, but Reed is there. 3 on the clock. Kuhlman picks up his dribble, throws over to Dollins. Shot not off in time, doesn't go anyways. And the first quarter comes to an end. Homestead up by 15. The offense flying to begin the period. Slowed down a little bit late, but still a big advantage, 22-7.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Back here at Spartan Arena, Homestead leading Manchester 22-7 in the season opener for the Homestead Spartans. Braxton Hall and Atticus Dean along with you. Third member of our team, Lucas Acree, roaming the sidelines for this one. And at the end of the second quarter underway, Homestead, what a start it has been for them.
And they're doing great things on both sides of the basketball, especially offensively. They're just knocking down these wide open looks they're generating at a crazy high rate, and that has jumped out to this big lead for them.
How about that post play there from McNeese? I've been very impressed with the ball movement of Homestead offensively. It feels a lot quicker, a lot more fluid than it did a year ago. But also the defense. Here's another trap, cornered up. And what's the call going to be here? I think out of bounds on Homestead or a foul before. It is going to be a foul called before.
So there, Immel was behind there and reached just a little bit too much for the officials' liking. So a situation that could have been a Spartan forced turnover leads to a reset for the Squires.
I know you talk about that corner area a lot where the ball handler goes. It's easy to get trapped there. And that's what happened. Manchester catches a break with the foul by Immel. That's his first. Here's Reed with it over to Schroll. Now in the hands of Young. Heath with it. Manchester trying to get any penetration they can, but Homestead is collapsing to the paint whenever the Squires drive, but got 3 points there from the outside. There's Aaron Reed. Came off the bench in this one. He's already got 6 points for the Squires. Told you to keep an eye out on him, even if it is coming off the bench. Kuhlman now goes over to Weaver. To Immel, fires it down to McNeese. Wide open, no one in the zip code.
And when you play zone like the Squires are, you can't have those miscommunications. They switched from a 1-2-2 to now a 2-1-2 zone, and that switches a lot of things, and wide open layup for the Homestead Spartans as a result.
Welker knocks it out of play. Winger is going to check back in for the Squires. So what do you think that philosophy is? Why do you think they made that change in their zone?
I think a huge thing was they didn't like Homestead getting the ball in the middle of the basketball court, because when you get the ball in the middle, it opens up the entire half court. It allows guys like Kuhlman and Immel to make those passes, but when you go and switch zones, everyone's job is a little bit different, and it's hard to switch zones like very rapidly during the game.
So Martin here throws it out to Young. We'll see how this new look zone works for the Squires, trying to still figure things out. And it's just their second game under their current head coach. As ball taken away here by Kuhlman. And he might try to take it himself. He does with 3 Squires in the area. He can't finish it, but McNeese does. And Brogan McNeese now with 6 points in this quarter, 8 overall.
McNeese has just been on the offensive glass, getting those easy putbacks as the Squires aren't doing a good job of boxing out.
Martin throws it to Young, taken away by Weaver. He's going quickly up the floor, thrown to Welker. It's just a piece of cake for Homestead right now, and one more coming Welker's way.
Well, Weaver kind of understood the game plan there on that fast break. Just kind of throw it up in the direction of Mac Welker. He'll come down with it and get an easy layup and work to a charm for the Spartans. And Welker just doing a great job of running the break despite his size. That's a rare trait that you don't see a lot of bigs being able to do. Move with or without the ball as quickly as he does. And they're just a easy and one for Welker.
Welker was 70% last season from the free throw line. Highest of the returning players, and he gets it to go at the line here. So he's got 12 first half points. Schroll, who just checked into the game, will get it here for the Squires. Hernandez also just checked into the game. We'll back it up here to Schroll, thrown to Heath. Kuhlman almost got a hand on it. Now Martin, back to Hernandez. 5.5 to go in this first half. Heath again with the ball to Schroll. Squires still kind of stuck on the perimeter edges right now offensively. Hernandez going to try a perimeter shot. No good. Welker gets the rebound once again. He is cleaning up on the boards for Homestead. Getting downhill. Kicks it out. Three-pointer from Immel. He's on fire tonight as well. He's now 4 of 5 beyond the arc.
And I believe almost every shot that Immel has taken has been from that exact wing spot. And for the Squires, how do you leave him wide open? I get his transition, but you have to identify the shooters on the break, and Immel certainly fits that description. His 4th three-pointer of the night.
And now Manchester already burning their 3rd timeout of this game. They only have 2 left. We still have 21 minutes left in this contest. I mean, what do you try to do here? I mean, you're struggling to do anything defensively.
It's hard because they obviously like running zone. They're a zone-based defensive team. But if you play too high on the zone, it's easy to break the zone with them skip passes. I mean, we've seen Homestead being able to do that numerous times with Kuhlman, Immel, whoever it may be running the offense. So if you go man, you have a size disadvantage, though. Welker has a couple inches over this Manchester Squires, so it's just hard to figure things out. Homestead's offense now is like a puzzle that's hard to crack, but I think just trying to force turnovers. We've seen Kuhlman struggle to handle the ball at some moments in this game. Just try to get more of those to happen.
And Kuhlman gets a steal here. It's a 2-on-2. Schroll pokes it free, floated up to Welker. What a pass from Kuhlman, and what a finish from the 2 juniors. In the hands of Hernandez now, Homestead's lead, the largest it has been in this one, a 26-point advantage. Schroll had a little bit of space. Dollins closes in. Now to Young. Bounce pass to Heath, and we're going to get whistles. Foul is going to be the call here against Kuhlman, his 2nd. And Young is going to check out of the game here for the Squires. And Reed checking in, will inbound it. Kuhlman in his face, thrown in to Schroll. Dollins picks him up defensively, runs into Heath. Defensive switch, it's Welker now. Schroll trying to find Martin, gets to the glass, can't convert. Who else but Welker to get the board for the Spartans. Thrown ahead to Immel. Another one, yes! Ryder Immel on fire, 15 points again from the wing.
Well, once again, Immel knowing his spot and Welker recognizing where his shooter is. And how about this first half in Immel's first varsity game?
Thrown ahead to Welker, lays it in, but it doesn't fall. McNeese there to clean it up, and that is Braylon McNeese that time for the Spartans. So He's got his first points of this one. His brother with 8 so far on the night. 31-point advantage for Homestead. Still 3.5 to go in the second quarter. Schroll picked up by Dollins, runs into McNeese as well, and a jump ball arrow does keep it with Manchester. Take another look at this. There was a little bit of contact, but yep, wrapped up there. Good call from the officials. Winger will check in now for Manchester. And Kuhlman's going to get a break for the Spartans as Mason Weaver takes his place out on the floor. Ball in the hands of Reed. Guarded closely, thrown away to Dollins. And now into the front court comes Weaver. Haven't seen him too much since the first quarter. McNeese driving, Welker driving, puts it up, can't get it to fall. Gets his own miss. Now to Dollins, wing 3 of his own, is strong, rebounded by Hernandez. So for the first time in a while, Manchester gets a defensive stop. Winger up ahead, back to Hernandez. We'll go out to Reed, 3-pointer, that's off the mark, and that's rebounded by Emmel, just stays in bounds. He'll bring it up the floor for Homestead now, thrown to Welker. Dollins left open, he's going to step up, drive, goes up, Martin knocks it out of bounds.
And Dollins there tracking a couple defenders. They're trying to find an angle for the layup, but Squires defense there holding strong on that possession.
Weaver will inbound it here. We're going to get a substitution, though. So Reed will go to the bench. Looks like it was McLean who checked in. 3-pointer no good from McNeese. Martin gets the rebound. Manchester got to start cutting into this lead as they're just 4 points away from potentially facing a running clock for the second game in a row. Martin throws it back to McLean. Now Reed, he drives baseline. That's actually Heath with it. Thrown over to Hernandez, deflected, kept alive by Emmel, and then caught out of bounds by Heath. So that's going to turn over to Homestead. What a hustle play from Ryder Emmel. Take a look at this. Let's see if he stays in the shot. He does. Good camera work there from our crew. Emmel throws it back, and Heath out of bounds will turn it over to Homestead.
And this effort just so vibrant in this gym, and Homestead playing with great intensity, but they're sort of doing the same thing that just happened to the Squires. They're just crossing that half-court line is McNeese, so Spartans give it right back, but still their effort, Homestead's effort has been tremendous in this first half. Every loose ball, they feel like it should be theirs, and they're going out and they're getting them.
Look, last year's team was good. They proved that by making it to semi-state. We're getting another over and back. Call here right back to Homestead, but last year's team was very good. They made it to semi-state. They were a talented team. But at least in the first, 14 minutes of this season, the energy this team is exuding is very impressive.
And last year, they picked up that energy come playoff time, and it's continuing to even get sort of fanning the flame as the Spartans, as they went on that big run, and everyone on the team, they believe in themselves. Well, now you have some of those core guys returning. You have players that are stepping up.
Oh, not again, off the mark this time.
You have players stepping up and trying to keep that energy going in the new guys. So this Homestead team just has a new life.
And Mac Welker bringing that life. He's going to have another 3-point play the old-fashioned way coming his way as through 2 defenders. They're going to ultimately get McLean for the call, his second, but just bodying up and add 2 more to his total.
That is not an easy finish there, Braxton. 2 guys there having to adjust mid-air off the glass. I mean, what a finish from Welker. He had a standout summer for his AAU team. They ended up winning the Nike Peach Jam tournament on the EYBL scene, and that work is paying off, and you can tell it's paying off here in this first half as Welker has his handprints all over this game.
Also started getting his first D1 offers. He's got a couple of those in his back pocket now as well, as he's still just beginning his junior year. McLean goes baseline, turns around, kicks out. Winger not on the wing, but from deep, and it's rebounded by Welker of the Spartans. Bucket here would push us towards a running clock in this one as Weaver has it for Homestead. He'll step up to the free throw line, kick out to Ryder Emmel. That one no good, and rebounding foul is going to go against Weaver here as get a little slap happy on that fight for the ball.
Braxton, even Ryder Emmel is human now, starting to pull off just a smidge, missing his last 2 3-point attempts, but Manchester hasn't been able to capitalize on those misses, as defensively the Spartans are doing great things. They've been switching from zone and man, and they've been switching on everything. They have great switchability, like I mentioned earlier, and Manchester's finding that out first and foremost.
And we're going to get a travel call here as that turns it over to Homestead. Manchester has scored just 3 points in this second quarter. It has been rough sledding. They're getting outscored 22-3 in this period. Welker's going to inbound it here to Immel for what may be Homestead's final possession of the half. We'll have to wait and see. Coleman on the midcourt logo, picked up by Winger. We'll hand it off to Immel. Now Braylon McNeese as Welker calls for it, but it's going to be Coleman on the wing. Yes, sir! Jake Coleman hits the 3 for Homestead. His first point since the first quarter. Now he's got 5 in this game. Hernandez up the floor here. He'll pass it over to Heath. Now to Winger. Martin with it. Thrown back. McLean. Winger. Martin. Just passing it around. Heath spins around, creates some space, and finally going to get a bucket here for Manchester. Their first points in over 4 minutes. 10 seconds left on the clock. Coleman into the front court. Has it knocked away into the hands of Welker. Immel 3-pointer deep on the wing. Ryder Immel, why not tack on 3 more to end the first half as he puts up 18 in his first 16 varsity minutes. How about that? Coach Johnson has to be happy, and he's standing by with our Lucas Acree.
Coach, great half there by the team. The points off turnovers was very significant. How does that gain momentum against a team that just won state last year?
Well, I mean, I thought, we shot the ball pretty good. We played pretty good defense for the most part. We're still letting a lot of dribble drive. But anytime you can shoot the ball well, it makes it look like you know what you're doing.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. Overall, good work, but still work needed to be done. Braxton, back to you.
All right, thank you, Lucas. I mean, Coach Johnson's not shown it, but you got to imagine he's very impressed with his team's performance in the first 16 minutes.
And Braxton, when you're a coach as successful and is going as long as Coach Johnson, there's always something, maybe a little nitpicky that you can find wrong with your team. But I know under that facade he has going of stern coach, I know he's probably smiling internally as his team is showing out in this first half.
It's been fun to watch the Spartans flying high and dominating this game. Right now, fans out taking 3-pointers. I think you know that guy, Atticus.
That would be my dad, who did just airball, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry for that. We've had good shooters here tonight. Well, that number's starting to go down a little bit due to Mr. Dean out there. Another one.
Oh, just off the mark to the right, man.
Yeah, at least hit the backboard.
Yeah, that was improvement there, but not everyone can shoot great tonight. I think Ryder Immel's got a lot of that energy right now from 3. First half is over, 50-12. Homestead leads Manchester. We've got the OPS halftime report momentarily.
Marco's Pizza, located at 103.
Rethink your limits.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being
The Air National Guard allows you to serve your state and country just one weekend a month while living your everyday life the other 28 days. You can earn up to $1,200 a month and get 100% of your college tuition paid for. For more information, search Fort Wayne Black Snakes on Facebook or Instagram, or call 260-478-3247 to connect with a recruiter today.
For more than 30 years and 2 generations, RT and Colin Green have given Fort Wayne more than proven personal injury representation. They have shared everyday life with the people they serve. These deep ties give RT, Colin, and every member of Team Green Law the local Fort Wayne knowledge and insight to know the best way to help you get the recovery you deserve. See the difference local experience makes. For a free consultation, visit us online at teamgreenlaw.com. Team Green Law, for you, with you.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Rethink your limits.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
50-12, the halftime score is Homestead leads Manchester here at Spartan Arena. Braxton on Atticus team with you for the OPS halftime report. All right, we got to talk about Coach Johnson's interview. He said if you hit shots, makes it look like you know what you're doing. Right now, it certainly looks like the Spartans know what they're doing because they are hitting a lot of shots.
Yeah, that phrase there just kind of perfectly explains what we just witnessed in that first half. While I think Coach Johnson could have given his team a little bit more credit. Obviously, he won't do that. As a coach, you're going to look for something to point out. But the Spartans' offense has been electric, to say the least. I mean, this is a team that didn't necessarily shoot the ball all that well last year from three. They really only had a couple guys that would shoot the ball from beyond the arc. Well, now it seems like everyone on their team can shoot the ball from beyond the arc, and that is showing, namely Ryder Emmel. I mean, 6 3-pointers in that first half, more points than minutes played for the sophomore. I mean, what a way to kick things off for the Spartans.
6 of 9 from three-pointer in the first half for Ryder Emmel, the leading scorer for Homestead with 18. Mac Welker right behind him with 17. Brogan McNeese has 8. Jake Coolman has 5. Braylon McNeese has a pair of points as well. All right, one player we haven't talked about because he's not playing in this game, that's Gavin Betterton. If you're a Manchester fan, you're familiar with him. He led this team in every single statistical category last year. Points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, steals per game, and blocks per game. The only thing he didn't lead them in was three-point percentage. Everything else, he was the team leader. They are really missing him tonight.
Well, you can see the effect when you lose a guy that pretty much did everything for you last year. The guys that have to take your place don't really have the necessary experience to step up and replace some of that production. You can see there Aaron Reed is doing his best out there. There's moments where he's the only guy doing offensive things out there for the Squires as their offense is struggling, but nonetheless you can't use that as an excuse. You have to work with the group you have right now, and for Manchester there's a lot to fix, but a lot of it is offensive. Defensively, not a whole lot you can do when Homestead just doesn't miss from three, but offensively it's slow. They can't get any sort of penetration. Every time they try to drive, they're met at almost a three-point line, and offensively I think it just move the ball without dribbling, just put the ball on the ground. It's going to be huge for them to figure things out in the second half.
Homestead looking pretty good here in this first half, so big lead. It's going to be a running clock here in the second half. Do you think we start to see some new guys mix in here for Homestead?
I definitely think that will be the case. The stars will be out there third quarter, but I think mid-third quarter, maybe end of it, I think Coach Johnson will go to some of the guys on his bench. A lot of guys that played JV last year, that would be their first varsity experience. I mean, Austin Wagner, he was on the freshman team last year. Well, now getting the bump all the way up to varsity. Cameron Abering, as well Gavin Wells. Brendan Lee is the other freshman with Mason Weaver. So a lot of young guys. Also Jack Goody as well. He was a key JV player for Homestead last year. So a lot of guys that are very heavily involved with this Homestead basketball program. They could get the chance to go out there and play their first varsity minutes.
All right, the boys are having fun tonight. Friday, the girls are going to look to follow up as they will face the Carroll Chargers in the SAC's biggest rivalry on Friday night. Tip-off of that game right around 7:30 p.m. as Homestead now ranked number 2 in the AP poll on the girls' side, 4 in the coaches' poll, and at the top of the SAC. That'll be a fun one Friday night. The boys will be at Warsaw Friday night in a huge showdown. But first, still 16 minutes remaining in this home opener and season opener for Homestead here at Spartan Arena. And it will be Homestead ball to begin quarter number 3. Starters are out there as you expected to begin this third period. Ian Kuhlman will get it in the back court here. And bounce it to McNeese. Thrown wide open on the far side. Emmo crashes in, shut down. Welker gets the miss and finishes it off.
And Homestead's doing a great job of crashing that offensive glass and getting multiple shot opportunities per possession. That has also contributed to their scoring output they've had in this one.
Ball in the hands of Martin, now to Schroll. It's a little bit of a screen from Young. 52-12 is the score of this one. We're having some technical difficulty. Schroll will bank it in for Manchester. So they'll get 2 points to begin in this third quarter. They only scored 5 points in the entirety of the second quarter as they were outscored mightily 28-5. Here's Kuhlman, who's got 5 points of his own, and he'll tack on 2 more.
Kuhlman's taking a bit of a reduced scoring role in this one, but still showing there that he has the potential to go and get a bucket of his own. A great use of the screen and shot fake for the easy layup.
If anyone on Homestead, he does have the highest career high with a 29-point performance last year, but he really isn't that far off of his season average from a year ago. He scored 8.5 per game. He's got 7 so far, so even though it's felt quiet and he's had a few mistakes, it still really has not been a bad showing from Kuhlman. That was a bad pass, though, from Hernandez.
And the Squires, they're struggling to make these passes, and I think part of it has to be a bit of hesitation in the back of their mind, as Homestead's been a great team at jumping these passing lanes and getting easy steals. So when you know that the team they're going against is going to jump in these passing lanes, you're a little hesitant to throw them sometimes, and that can lead to ill-advised passes going out of bounds.
Ball in the hands of Kuhlman, throws it over to Weaver. He was held scoreless in the first half. This is his first varsity game. Just a freshman. Welker, not his first varsity game. Can't hit the 3. Schroll will get the rebound. Squires looking to push here, and it's going to be Schroll taking it all the way and getting it to fall in. And I think a timeout is going to be called here by Manchester. So All they have left is full timeouts with 5:48 left in the third quarter. We'll step away, 54-16, Homestead leads.
Rethink your limits.
Coach Lepper burning his second to last timeout as his team trails 54-16 with 5:48 remaining in the third quarter. Braxton Hall and Atticus Dean along with you. Okay, Manchester's offense, maybe a little something to begin this third quarter. You know, they're not going to come back with the running clock in effect. So what do you want to take from the final 13 and a half minutes of this game?
Just want to see improvements offensively, namely just the ability to handle pressure. And if teams, they see the tape of this game, they see that the Squires are struggling to handle the press, they're struggling to handle the basketball when any pressure put on them. What do you think teams are going to do? They're going to apply pressure, so you just want to be able to take care of the basketball so teams don't see that as a weak point in your game and find themselves trapping you all game, because it's not fun to go against a trap all 4 quarters.
And give Manchester credit for as much as they have struggled and as much turnover as this team has. They are a 2A team coming to a 4A ranked powerhouses arena on the road, and I think in the end this ends up being good for them, you know, getting this experience against tougher competition than what they're going to face most of the season. Ryder Immel, he's been the tough competition tonight. He now has 21 points in his varsity debut.
Just those wing 3-pointers for Immel, just being able to walk in and knock those down consistently as Homestead's moving the ball too fast for the zone of the Squires to keep up.
He throws it across to Schroll. 3-pointers off the mark. And Brogan McNeese gets the rebound. Thrown ahead to Kuhlman. Picks up the dribble. Back to Immel. Thrown all the way over to Weaver. And that rattles in for his first varsity point.
And Weaver, not even a guy that is labeled as a shooter. He's more of a just facilitator and guy that gets to the basket there. He's knocking down threes. Everybody for Homestead contributing from beyond the 3-point line.
Martin with the ball now for the Squires. In the hands of Young, guarded by Welker. I'll turn around to Heath. Now Hernandez to Martin. Head fake, thrown back to Young. 34, guarded by 34, Brogan and McNeese. Young bounces it back to Hernandez. Now to Heath. Manchester taking their time on this possession, trying to find an open look. Hernandez has gotten it to him on that wing several times tonight. Now Schroll. Hernandez knocked away by Welker. It's going to be a one-on-one. He's going to drive and slam it home. Mac Welker, his second dunk of the night.
And Welker in the fast break is dangerous. Nobody keeping up with him, and another easy jam for the junior.
What a performance he is putting on in this season opener tonight. He and Ryder Immel have now combined for 42 points, 21 apiece. The co-leading scorers in this one. That's going to be a charge. Jay Kuhlman, another returning starter. The gritty play there.
And Kuhlman doing a good job of baiting the contact from Heath there on that drive. And now we see it, Brendan Lee, the freshman, checking in to the game. So now 2 freshmen in the game for Homestead.
And we expect to see probably about a 7 or 8 man rotation for Homestead most of this season, but a ball like this, you're going to start getting those guys involved, and Welker, another and one opportunity coming up. But after that thought, Brendan Lee probably going to be the 8th guy for Homestead off of the bench, so he comes in for the first time tonight. And Braylon McNeese, 6th or 7th guy off the bench for the Spartans this season, to check back in.
And Lee is another guy that can come in and handle the basketball. So just a theme with this Spartans team this year is just all guys that can handle the basketball well, and that was something that they lacked last year.
Immel gets the offensive rebound off the missed free throw, ball back in his hands. And we'll throw it over to Kuhlman with 2:25 left. Skip pass over to Lee, thrown back now to Immel. Lee again with it. Dump to Welker on the left block, cutting and laid in that time by McNeese.
And all the bigs for Homestead have done a great job of cutting and finding the open spot, and credit to Welker as well, having his eyes up in the post, not instantly putting his head down and dribbling, just looking for his guys cutting because he knows it's happening.
And the handoff from Hernandez to Schroll goes awry there out of bounds. So it's going to be Homestead basketball.
And for the Squires, number 3, Aaron Reed.
Aaron Reed's going to check back in here for Manchester. And Kuhlman will get it in the backcourt for the Spartans. 95 seconds left in this third quarter. Immel throws it over to Lee. Now in the hands of Braylon McNeese, thrown all the way over to Immel. He drives, kicks to Welker. Mac Welker having himself a third quarter and having himself a night. He's got 25. He's quickly approaching his career high of 27. Schroll off the mark, and Welker will have a chance to tie or surpass his career high on this possession. Thrown over to Immel. Now in the hands of Kuhlman. To Lee. McNeese three-pointer on the way, no good. Welker gets the board, going baseline, and fouled on the floor by Manchester, just their third team foul. Take another look at this find from Ryder Immel. Great vision, but Mac Welker elevating for another jam.
And last year at this time, he was struggling to get those rim-grazing dunks to go in. Well, now with no problem at all getting up on that rim is Welker.
He ate his veggies in the offseason. I'll tell you what, because he has grown. He's listed as 6'6". He honestly might be taller than that because he is playing amazing. And that height, he is towering over most of the other players out on the floor.
And that, once again, to harp on it, but his guard-like skills at that size is just such an uncanny matchup for most bigs to go against, and that just makes him that much more dangerous as a player.
Good find there allows Reed to lay it in for Manchester on their final possession of this quarter. Immel will drive, going up. Ryder Immel showing off the stuff to end the third quarter. He's got 23. Let's take another look at this. Ryder Immel splitting the defenders and banking it in left-handed. Bank is open late tonight right now. It is 70-18. Homestead leads Manchester after 3 quarters of play. Homestead leading 70-18 over Manchester, a 52-point advantage here at Spartan Arena. The most Homestead scored in any game last year was 80, so they're flirting with that mark here in the season opener this year. Some more substitutions. Austin Wagner has checked into the game for the first time tonight for Homestead, as has Cameron Abring, as the ball is thrown over to the corner here and a travel called on Manchester. And that's Satterthwaite, his first time in the game tonight.
And I mentioned it now, coming to fruition is a lot of the guys on last year's JV and even freshman team. Wagner, I mentioned earlier, he was on the freshman team last year, now getting the bump all the way to varsity.
Gavin Wells also into the game for the first time tonight for Homestead. He's going to get the pass here from Wagner. Back to Wells and back to Wagner. Let's see what this new group can do out on the floor. Abring picking up where the other guys left off. He's got a 3.
And if you thought the three-point barrage was going to end when these guys come in, you thought wrong. As all these guys on the court, they can shoot the ball very well. They're all guards out there, but a lot of them have size that allows them to guard 1 through 5. So just another fun group out there for Homestead.
Heath throws it over now in the hands of Reed, Now Satterthwaite. Back to Heath. Bounce pass to Satterthwaite. Reed steps up, and we're going to get a foul called against Homestead. That'll be Abring, his first.
Foul number 4, Cameron Avery, his first. He fouled 1.
And it looks like we're going to get the final timeout called by Coach Lepper. His team down big, 73-18 will step away, 6:19 remaining.
Rethink your limits.
6:19 remaining in the season opener here at Spartan Arena. Braxton and Atticus Dean along with you for the ride as Homestead holds a 55-point advantage over Manchester. The Spartans, you see their shoes in the background there. They're already out on the floor, ready to go. Meanwhile, Coach Lepper trying to use every second he can in the huddle here to try to figure something out down the stretch of this one.
Well, Braxton, I mean, it's two completely different huddles as it's two completely opposite situations for these teams. For Homestead, everything you talked about coming into this game has worked. There's not really a whole lot to say, but for Manchester, there's a lot of things they're trying to work on in this moment, just extra reps that you can get in to figure things out as your early season slate games. You go against a lot of these big schools, and you don't want every single game to end up like this, so try to figure things out in this one.
Well, and that next game against Wawasee, you would hope is a little bit easier, facing a 3A team, but it's still not going to be a walk in the park by any means. Then you play Tippecanoe Valley, a team who's probably on a similar level to Homestead a lot of years, another 4A team. Then you got Huntington North, a team who's not as good as Homestead most years, but in the same section, a similar level opponent. So things are not getting very easy here for Manchester.
Exactly, and that's why you need to work on things like there. Just have a nice backdoor cut, but just bobble the pass, and could have had a layup, but instead now you're forced to take it out of bounds, and now Homestead's defense gets another chance to set things up and stop you. So just these small things that you want to clean up in this time for Manchester, as they certainly have their sights on playoff success again, but that's not possible if you can't figure things out and fast.
Jack Goody has it here for Homestead, or went off of him. Now it's in the hands of Brendan Lee, as Goody's into the game for the first time tonight. Ball in the hands of Wells. Now to Wagner. Thrown to Lee once again. Wells steps inside the arc. Back to Lee. Three-pointer on the way. That's off the mark and rebounded by Manchester. Schroll will take it into the front court. Turns around to Reed. At the free throw line. Floats it up and gets it to fall. So Aaron Reed's into double digits. Leading scorer for Manchester. He has half of their points, 10. Hey, season opener for Homestead. What do we think about these new jerseys, these new white and yellow Jordan brand jerseys? I think they look pretty sharp out on the floor.
Yeah, Braxton, we were talking about it a little bit earlier in the day. I really like it. Compared to last year's, it was just a white and blue, but I think the gold numbers and lettering really brings it out. And yeah, Jordan jerseys as well rather than Nike, but I think these ones look good. They certainly help the numbers pop, and it's easier to see up from here.
I'm not usually a fan of yellow or gold on jerseys when it comes to calling a game, but it looks sharp on these white home unis for Homestead. So looking good, playing good, certainly feeling good so far in game one of the season, as Wells has it here. And he'll step up and bank it in off the glass.
Well, Braxton, you know the saying, look good, play good, and there Gavin Wells continuing that trend for the Spartans. A tough lefty layup gets it to go for Homestead, extending the lead even more.
Young spins around into Wells. It goes to Reed. Now Schroll, a lot of contact, and the bucket is not going to count as Wells takes back-to-back blows. And this time gets the charge call set all the way. Good call from the officials.
It's 2 charges there from the Spartans, and even when you're up this big, still taking charges, still doing those little things. That speaks on this team's character. They're not just doing it when it matters most, they're doing it all the time, even when some people may not be watching or paying attention to the little details. It's still preached upon by the Spartans.
Ball in the hands of Wells now on the wing, going baseline, and you get whistles and a foul called against Manchester. They're going to get Satterthwaite for his first.
Squires foul number 10, Parker Satterthwaite. His first.
Ball in the hands of Lee, thrown out. Take his pass. Now Goody, 3-pointers off the mark and out of bounds. And it's going to stay here. Actually, it's going out of bounds off the Spartans. It'll be Manchester ball. 2:15 remaining in this one and a 55-point deficit. Martin has it. He'll be fouled by Lee. So we start to look ahead for Homestead. They're going to have a huge one on Friday against Warsaw. It's going to be their first test on the road. That game was here at Homestead last year. It went to overtime, ended in a buzzer beater. Hold that thought as the Spartans got motioned in transition, and that's laid in by Abring for 2 more. But back to that Warsaw game. That's going to be a huge test for Homestead coming up on Friday.
Well, I'm sure Homestead had that marked on their calendar. I'm sure Kuhlman and Welker do as well, as that was their first really tough loss they faced in their first full season of varsity play. And after that, they had a couple more games where it was a bit of a struggle, but come holiday tournament time, man, I mean, that team last year just picked things up, and I'm sure this team knows that they are a lot better at this point of the year than they were last year, and they're ready to go and face Warsaw on the road. That'll be a great test for the Spartans team, as they're playing good at home, but when you go into a hostile, big crowd environment against a good team, that is really where things can make or break for your team, so that's going to be a great test for this young Spartans team.
The substitution here from Manchester. Jonathan Miller checks into the game as Young goes to the bench. Also, Resto D'Andrea checks in. Reed gets the second one to rattle in, so had one more. This total, an 11-point game tonight. Ball on the far side. 3-pointer is in and out from Wagner. Loose ball still. Spartans have it, and it's going to be Homestead ball. Abray, another 3-pointer chucked up, and that one good. He's got 2 of them now. He's got 8 points in this 4th quarter. Now Homestead has tied their season high from a year ago in points.
1 minute to go.
Reed starts to drive and gets it to fall in. Aaron Reed continuing to play hard in the final minutes of this one, more than half of his team's points tonight. Goody throws it back and tipped out of bounds, and that's off of Manchester. So this time it'll stay on this end with Homestead. Gavin Willis will throw it in on the baseline for the Spartans in a moment. And throws it into Wagner. A little bit of contact, gets the shot to go. And he'll get on the scoring sheet as well. So all but 2 Spartans have scored in this game. As Reed goes up, can't get it to fall, tipped away. Homestead might have one more crack at it here. Abring is going to back things up and not try to run up the score. But Homestead is going to eclipse their season high from a year ago. They put up 82 in this one and get the victory 82-23. A dominating performance from start to finish.
We'll talk about making a statement in your season opener and home opener added on as well. Homestead just dominated from tip-off all the way to the end of the game. A great performance from the Spartans. And how about another great debut from Ryder Emmel, the sophomore, making his presence felt early in this one, as the Spartans team is playing well as a team. Everyone's stepping up and doing the little things.
I think we might get to hear from him in a moment, but yeah, what a performance it was for Ryder Emmel. He actually ended up being only the 2nd leading scorer with 23. Mac Wilker at 25, but Emmel in his varsity debut, puts up 23. He's standing by with Lucas Akery.
Ryder, a big game tonight. How does a win like this help start the season off on a right foot for the entire team?
Yeah, it's just a good one to set the tone. Good to get out here and play against an opponent other than each other. It's just good to get out here and get the win.
You had 23 tonight in your first ever varsity game. How does it feel that looking back on it, you'll be able to... You had 23 in your first ever varsity game. How does it feel that you'll be able to look back on this for the rest of your life?
It feels good, but shout out to all my teammates. They were finding me in the right spots. We just got it done. The win is the most important thing, so that's all I care about.
And then looking forward, how does a win like this help for a tougher opponent in Warsaw on Friday?
It just starts us off on the right foot. Now we can come back and look and see what we got to clean up on, and, we'll get it figured out and be ready for Warsaw Friday.
Thank you, guys. Great game tonight. Braxton, we'll send it back out to you.
All right, thank you, Lucas. Great interview down with the entire team. Didn't expect to see that, but the boys rallying together as they did out on the floor. Ryder Emmel, very humble in his great performance tonight, turning it back to his teammates, and the team did play great. But let's talk about him for just a moment and what he did. This is his varsity debut, and I know it's against a team you're supposed to beat, quote unquote, but still to have a big performance like this, very impressive.
No, you said it there, just hit it right on the tee there, Braxton. He talked about his teammates finding him. Well, they did just that. He was posted up in the right spot every single time, and just knocking down the shots is what counts, and he did just that. And also able to put the ball on the floor as well, able to get some dribble drive action going. So not just a one-dimensional catch-and-shoot guy, but a guy that can really do all things that the Spartans team needs.
And then Mac Welker, the leading scorer in this game for Homestead. He put up 25, picking up where he left off a year ago. This guy's going to be dangerous this season.
It's definitely Mac Welker watch for SAC Hoops, as he's starting to generate some college interest, and they're proving why colleges are interested in him. And I expected him to make a big leap, and he's proven me right here early, Braxton.
All right, one game down, 25 plus more to go. Final thoughts on this one?
This was a great way to kick things off for the Spartans in the season. They're trying to replicate the success they had and then some last season, and this is definitely the right direction to be taking in order to achieve that. But just such a fun night, such a fun season opener for this basketball club.
What an exciting way to tip off the season as Homestead defeats Manchester 82-23, and Homestead starts the season 1-0 and continues their streak of not losing a home opener since 2017. Their next game will be on Friday at Warsaw, as we talked about a rematch of that overtime buzzer beater game from a year ago. Meanwhile, our next broadcast will also be on Friday at the same time as the Lady Spartans continue SAC play against the Carroll Chargers. Tip-off will be around 7:30 p.m. right here on Homestead Live. Until then, on behalf of Lucas Akery, Atticus Dean, and the entire Homestead Live team, I'm Braxton All saying so long from Spartan Arena.